Hello, and welcome back to the Start and Succeed show with me, Kelly Brammer. This podcast, if you haven't listened to it before, is all about helping you step into your power with purpose and with intent so that you can build a life, a career, or a business that you are truly passionate about. And I do that by sharing on a weekly basis insights, strategies, and mindsets that can help you on that journey. Now, in today's episode, I'm going to be talking to you about raising your vibration. Because when you raise your vibration and your frequency, you raise your life. And I'll talk a bit more about that in a moment. But before we dive in, just a quick reminder. If you do love this episode, please take a moment to leave a review on the podcast platform. It really helps others to find this content and grow with us. And of course, if you are looking for more resources to support you on that journey, head over to our website, which is www.startandsucceed.online, and you'll find tools, workbooks, and support to help you move forward with clarity and with confidence. So let's get stuck in. Let's talk energy. What does it actually mean to raise your vibration? Well, everything is energy. The thoughts that we think, the words that we speak, the environments that we live in and surround ourselves with, and the food that we consume, it all carries a level of frequency. And those frequencies affect us both consciously and subconsciously. So when I talk to you about raising your vibration and raising your frequency, I'm referring to intentionally aligning your thoughts, your actions, and your surroundings with higher frequency emotions. So you're going to act with love, with joy, with gratitude, with abundance and creativity. And the more that you can live in those emotional states, the more that you're going to attract the right people, the right opportunities, the right experiences to you that actually match what you're looking for. But here's the thing. No one really actually feels high vibe all of the time, do they? That's not the goal. And it's really unachievable if it is a goal because we all go through human emotions. We have things that affect us, which means we can't always be in this high vibe state. But the goal can be to become aware of what lowers your energy and to consciously step forward and choose things that lift you up rather than pull you down and allow you to step forward rather than hitting against a wall or seeing barriers all of the time. So today I want to share with you 5 areas that I've used personally and I've used it with other clients that have helped raise their vibration, especially when they're feeling stuck or a bit disconnected from their purpose and why they're trying to do whatever it is that they're trying to do. So the first step in that, after we've thought about the energy and the frequency that we need to get to, and that's, again, not on a consistent all of the time basis. It's consistent in terms of habits and feelings, but knowing that you're also going to have times when you're not feeling that. And that's okay. Sit with that and let it go. So now I want to talk to you about protecting your energy. So let's start with something really simple, but really powerful. And that is about saying no and saying no confidently. Now, we can often say yes out of habit, out of fear, out of guilt even, because we don't want to let people down. And what happens when we do that? Well, our schedule gets filled up. They're things that we don't really want to do. They kind of drain us. They're not really in our, sphere of wanting to influence. And it leaks our energy and our focus might get a little bit scattered. We might even feel like we're tired, we're frustrated, we're uninspired, we're resentful of saying yes to this person, yes to this situation, yes to this opportunity that isn't such an opportunity anymore. So saying no is one of the most empowering things that you can do to protect you, to protect your energy, to protect your emotions, to protect your vibration. So when you say no to the things that don't serve you, and like I say, that could be people, it could be commitments, it could be events, it could even be thought patterns that you've got going off in your mind. What you do is actually create space for what does serve you. So I want you to challenge yourself this week. I want you to think about and notice where you're saying yes out of some sort of obligation. Could you turn that into a no, but thank you instead? And remember that every no that you say is a yes to yourself. If you can really look in and have a look at what you're just saying yes to because you feel obligated to do it, and in turn start saying no, thank them for the opportunity, but protect your own energy, the more in line with your vibration, that high vibration that you're trying to get to. So the next piece of this puzzle is to really recharge yourself, to unplug, to unwind, to reflect. And this is something that we very easily can push to one side because there's so much to do. There's always a to-do list. There's always something that needs to get done, but you are important. So the next thing is to really create a practice that's ignoring the outside world. That might be taking a break from your mobile, from social media, from your laptop. Like, we're constantly plugged in. We constantly scroll. We respond. As soon as we wake up, we pick up our phones. If there's messages, if there's emails, we're responding. We're consuming all of this information all of the time. There's media in the news. Even when you're scrolling on your phone, maybe looking at something that you're actually interested in, there's ads coming through that's, again, just filling you with all of this information that in some instances you don't need and could actually impact your energy and impact how you're feeling on an emotional level. And that can be really exhausting. And often we don't even realize that it's happening to us. We don't realize how much it's dulling the energy that we have until we finally just take a step away and reflect on that. So I encourage you again this week just to schedule small but intentional time in your diary where you can completely unplug. No phone, no email, no social media, turn your notifications off, maybe even turn your phone off if you can. And just go for a walk or sit and reflect, do some breathing exercises, some meditation if that's something that you're into, read a book, listen to some music, whatever that is. Even if it's 5 to 10 minutes, it can make a huge difference to how you're feeling and the level that you're operating from. So when we create that space away from all of that constant stimulation, we can reconnect with our own inner voice. And that's where our true power lives. When we're true to us and authentic in what we do, we automatically up-level that frequency and operate from a higher bandwidth, essentially. So next I want to move on to creativity, because as children, we're really creative. So if you look back in your childhood and you may have had triggers within your childhood that are traumatic, so you might not be able to necessarily think about everything that happened in your childhood, but there may have been times in your childhood where you've acted really creatively because there was no fear. And in doing that, things happened that you didn't necessarily realize were going to happen because you were free. You were free-spirited, free-minded. You were just going with the flow. And as adults, we lose that because we're so bogged down with the day-to-day life and responsibilities that life gives us. So we're not as creative as we could or should be. And again, that's all linking back to your mindset, that frequency and those waves. So I want you to think about how you can get creative, but without an expectation being set on you to do it. So even if you're not, let's say, an artist or a musician, it doesn't mean that you can't be creative. Creativity isn't about being good at something. It's just about expressing yourself without judgment or fear of judgment. So there's a number of ways that you could get creative. I love cooking, so cooking is a big thing for me in terms of creativity, and I love taking recipes and playing around with them, making them my own, standing around listening to some music whilst I cook with my partner and just having a dance and just being free from every other expectation. So you could look at potentially drawing, colouring, writing, maybe building. So if you like Lego, I love Lego. So again, you could use something like Lego. You could dance, you could journal. There's so many different ways that creativity can come through. But it's really what makes you feel alive. There's no right or wrong. This is all about you just getting out of that logical mindset and into flow state. And creativity is one of the quickest ways to shift that state from low to high vibration because it puts you in the here and now. It puts you in the present moment. You're not thinking about that to-do list. You're not thinking about all the jobs that you've got to do when, your boss gets back from work next week, or you're not thinking about the client that you've got to serve. This is just about you. This is about you being free, being creative with no pressure, no outcome or goal, just joy, living in the moment. If you can do that, and again, it doesn't have to be long. We all have the same 24 hours in a day. It really is what we do with it. So even if you can just carve out 10, 15, maybe even half an hour a week just to share your creativity, be free, you will feel so much better and you will operate automatically to higher frequency because you're not being bogged down by all of that other stuff. Now, another area that can really influence the vibration and the frequency that you're operating at is your environment, your circle of friends, your circle of peers, colleagues, your network. So the people that you spend your time with, and you probably heard it before that you're the average of the 5 people that you spend the most time with. That is so true. The people that you spend your time with, the most time with, impacts your energy, impacts your mindset because you're feeding off them. Now, if they're good people, they're in a good place and you're bouncing ideas off them and you're having a really great time, those people can really lift you up and inspire you, and they can support your growth and they can be with you and celebrate your wins and their wins. But if you're spending time with people who complain, moan, doubt everything, question everything, they drag you down. And what that does is it impacts not only your mindset, but again, that frequency, because all you're hearing is negative things. All you're thinking about is, oh, well, I thought I could do this, but such and such says that I can't. Surround yourself with the people that lift you up rather than pull you back. And it doesn't mean cutting people off. It just means being more conscious about that energy exchange. So if you're talking to somebody, if you're interacting with somebody and they're in your life quite often, think about that energy exchange. Are you being, and I can't remember who I heard this from, but you have Amanda Abundance and you have Larry Laugh. Now, if you're Amanda Abundance and you're full of joy, positive outlook, glass half full, and then you're interacting with Larry, who never has enough. He's in that lack mindset. What's going to happen with the energy exchange is Larry will keep feeding off you because you're abundant, you're positive. Your outlook, is influential because you know that you can achieve what you want to achieve if you take the right action. And when you're sharing that with other people, you're inspiring them. But because Larry's in this lack state, he's just feeding, and he's not giving anything back to you. And that starts to drain you. So just think about that energy exchange with the people that are in your circle and really think about being intentional with your time and how you're sharing it with those people. So again, it's not about cutting people out. It's maybe just limiting the amount of time that you're spending with somebody who is in that lack state, who is in that negative mindset state, because they will impact you. And then working on how you can gradually start to change your circle so that people are lifting you up and not so much bringing you down. Now, lastly, I want to talk to you about one of the most influential and powerful vibrational shifts that you can have. And that's gratitude. So when you're grateful and you're truly grateful, you're not just saying thank you because it's a thing, it's good manners. When you're truly grateful for somebody helping you, somebody being in your life, for the sun shining, for being alive, for whatever it is in your life, if you're grateful for it, your energy expands. So you move from that lack state or fear state into a state of abundance and possibility. So to do this, you could start small. So maybe each morning or each evening, just jot down in a notepad or piece of paper 3 things that you are grateful for. They don't have to be big. In fact, I guess the more specific and ordinary, the better. So it might be, as I've just said, the sun shining today. You were walking through a park and somebody smiled at you. Maybe it's a moment of silence where you can have just time to reflect. If you're grateful for that, it helps to rewire your brain to look for the good rather than the bad. And that naturally raises that vibration. So I'll just recap those 5 practices that I've taught you about so that you can work on raising your vibration. So first of all, say no to what drains you. Secondly, take a break from tech, from your mobile phone, from your laptop, from the TV, from the radio. Take a break, even if it's just 5 or 10 minutes, to just cut yourself off and have time with yourself. Thirdly, get creative with no pressure whatsoever, no goals, no targets, no KPIs, just have fun, be creative, be authentically you. And think about, as I say, those things that really bring you joy. Is it dancing? Is it cooking? Is it singing even? Find that and then get creative with it. Next is to surround yourself with those high vibe people. Again, just thinking about those energy exchanges between you and other people in your network. And then lastly is to practice gratitude every single day, because as I say, that expands your energy. And those gratitude pieces don't have to be big, life-changing things. They can just be the fact that you've woken up and you're healthy. So raising your vibration isn't about being perfect or being happy all of the time, even though some people think it is. It's not. It's about creating an internal environment that really supports the person that you are becoming, not just the person that you've been or the versions of you that you have been. Now, you are in control of your energy. You're in control of your alignment. So when you consciously choose to practice things that actually lift up your vibration to raise that frequency, you create a ripple effect in your life and in the lives of others. Because if you're raising your vibration and your frequency, and you're interacting with other people, they're seeing that change. They're noticing how you're moving from one state to the other. And that, even just as simple as a smile to somebody, can change somebody's life. So thank you for tuning in today. I really hope you've enjoyed this episode and it gave you a few powerful takeaways to just support your journey as you move forward. So as I mentioned at the beginning of this, if you did love it, I really would love you to leave a review on your favorite podcast app, wherever you're listening to this episode from, because it really helps us grow and reach more amazing people just like you. And as I've said as well, if you're ready to deep dive or dive deeper, go ahead and visit the website www.startandsucceed.online, because on there you'll find tools, programs, workbooks, and other ways of working together so that I can continue to help you on this journey. So until next time, I hope you have a great week. Keep your energy high. Keep practicing those really good gratitude practices and just vibrational practices that can really transform your life. Thank you for listening, and I'll speak to you again soon.